based in Riverdale, which is in the Bronx, part of New York City. And a majority of our audience comes from the neighborhood. You know, a lot of people just walk out their door and come, and they're so grateful to have this in their neighborhood. But because we're providing something that's unique and is of such high quality, people are coming from Manhattan and Brooklyn and New Jersey and Connecticut even. I even had a friend who was in town from California and came and was a part of the audience too. So it's something that's not really being offered anywhere else, and people come to see and check it out. Well, the main criteria for people to play with us is highest quality imaginable. We really want people who are extraordinary musicians, who bring a lot of personality to their parts. Because a lot of people, with New York City, there's so many good musicians who can play it accurately. But we want people who bring artistry and panache to their playing. And we also seek out people who are really good colleagues, people who want to work together, good chamber musicians who come with a real understanding of music as a whole in addition to their own part. And I think that they bring a lot of energy and excitement to the performances. I have done something completely crazy, and I have started my own little symphony. And it's kind of something that falls in a crack. There's chamber music, which is 2 or 3 or 4 people as players, string quartets, string quintets, all kinds of combinations, people who play on their own. And then there are orchestras, which could be 60 to 80 to 100 people. There's even chamber orchestras, which are 35 people maybe. But there's a big gap between 8 people and 30. And that's the kind of thing that we're exploring. What's written for a lot of people, but on a whole mass of people. So we play music from 10 to 20 players. And it's the kind of thing where everybody's still featured individually, but it really helps to have a conductor there to kind of hold it all together and guide the process. And that's where we are. We're finding there's lots of interesting repertoire from all around the world that we can perform and put together really interesting programs. Okay, well, one of our recent programs was French music from a broad spectrum, from dating back to the 1840s to the 1930s or 40s. So 100 years of music, it follows its development, and you can also see the continuity in a particular country. Another program might have, we did one program who was conductors who were also composers of music. We've done something from one particular era.
I think that's excellent. I just think you should say, we do.
Okay.
Because that, that way, if somebody hears you, oh, you do that, and they want to invite you over.
Okay. Okay.
They'll say, oh, maybe he doesn't want to do that because he's done that before.
I see,
But,
I see, yeah. Well, yeah, we do, let me try to think of how I can phrase this here in my own.
What kinds of, can I tee it up for you?
Yeah.
What kind of music does the Riverdale Sinfonietta perform?
We perform a broad spectrum of music from all eras. We perform music from, I call it from Bach to the present day. We have nothing against music before Bach. We'd be happy to play music before Bach. But the music written for this particular kind of ensemble, the development of these instruments, has kind of solidified from that time to the present day. So that means music from the classical era, Mozart and Beethoven, the Romantic era, Liszt, Schumann, and Schubert, up through Wagner, and then the modern era, Schoenberg, and then up through composers who are composing currently, like Esa-Pekka Salonen and some of the composers who have done arrangements, particularly for us. We've done world premiere performances, New York performances, US performances, US premiere performances. And one of the interesting things that we have coming up is that I studied with a conductor who's also a composer, Karol Husa. He's a world-renowned composer, a wonderful human being, and he's from Czechoslovakia originally, studied in Paris, and then eventually settled in Ithaca, New York, where he was on the faculty for most of his career at Cornell University. And he conducted the orchestra there, and he taught many composers who went on to be very prominent composers of today, like Stephen Stuckey and Christopher Rouse. And one of the great things that's coming up is that he's going to have his 90th birthday in 2011, in August of 2011. And he's such a wonderful person. He's written such a broad range of music that I would really like to honor him. And one of the things we plan to do is to put on a concert of his music, highlighting his connections to Czechoslovakian music of the past, like Dvorak. And there's music of his that has never been performed in New York City. It's been around for decades, but it's been performed around the world, but for some reason it hasn't been performed in New York City. So why not us, with my connection to him, to perform this music for string orchestra. And then, building on that, we're going to make a recording, an internationally released professional recording of pieces that have never been recorded by him that we'll release on the label Delos at the end of 2011. And this event will take place on the campus of Mount St. Vincent, the College of Mount St. Vincent, which has offered us a beautiful, beautiful concert hall that seats 1,100 people. And it's really exciting to bring an event that's kind of international in scope because his music has been performed around the world. He wrote a piece called Music for Prague, 1968. That was a response to the Soviet crackdown at that time. And that piece has gone on to have thousands of performances around the globe. And so for us to highlight his birthday here in Riverdale really connects us to the larger world and brings a unique event right here to this little corner of the Bronx. And I think it's something that people, anyone who's interested in music, anyone who's interested in culture, anyone who's interested in history, anyone who was involved with Cornell University in any way, anyone who's played in the band at some point should be interested in what Karol Busa has done and help him celebrate. We have big plans, you know, we're going to conquer the world, of course, you know, that's why we do something like this. But step by step, we like to perform this broad range of music, as I said, for audiences, you know, typical subscription concerts, the audience comes and they hear a full program of music. But we're happy to perform for children as well, and we've done that quite successfully, explaining music, engaging the audience, engaging the kids in what the music means, how it's put together, explaining what the terminology is, what the different instruments do, let them meet the musicians, hear different composers. We perform music for families. We can perform outdoors, which we have done on one of the school campuses in Riverdale, and we'd like to serve that. We'd like to go beyond Riverdale as well and show the rest of the nation what great culture we have here in the Bronx. Why not? You know, it's not exclusive to any borough or any other city or anything else. We have some really incredible, unique music making that's going on here. And eventually, we'd like to partner with all different institutions in the area and bring this message and beauty of beautiful music to any receptive audience that's out there. Places that we performed. We gave a family concert at Wave Hill in the Bronx, and that was in September. What a beautiful time to be at a place like Wave Hill. And their main hall, which has windows that look out over this beautiful public garden. The Hudson River is not far in the distance there. And I decided in that program to highlight some music that was about nature. So much of music is about bird song, about the wind in the trees, about people singing as they stroll along in the countryside, or the sound of horses' hooves going through. This is, when we think about music, we're playing in our practice rooms, the music is a means for us to evoke these wonderful landscapes. And so to then take that music and immerse yourself in the middle of a great landscape just brings it all to life so naturally. It's almost no work. It just happens so beautifully. So that was a real connection that we had. We performed at Horace Mann outdoors, and people were picnicking, and their kids scampering around, literally rolling in the grass while we played everything from Mozart to Samuel Barber. You know, and that kind of puts us in another context where there are other sounds going on, maybe a helicopter passing by overhead, you know, something like that, which really brings music out where it belongs, out among the sounds of the world. It's one good experience.
I think we're done.
Yeah, oh great. Well, when I first started the Sinfonietta, I thought of this neighborhood. I had just recently moved to the neighborhood, and I saw such an opportunity in a place with families, with professionals, with older people, people from all different backgrounds, and this beautiful leafy neighborhood that it's so wonderful to stroll through with my children. I had young children that we were enjoying, and I thought it was a natural place for music, that people could enjoy it. There were a lot of people who could relate to the music and understand the music and appreciate it, but it was a wonderful setting also for the music, and different houses of worship, different schools, different places where people are trying to uplift themselves in so many different ways. Music was a natural part of that, and we wanted to join in and contribute to everything that the neighborhood